So, did you overspend over the holidays? Well, our next guest has 4 judgment-free steps to get you back on track.
Please welcome back financial educator and best-selling author Tiffany, the Budgetnista Aliche. Great to have you back here. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, too.
A lot of people waking up, looking at their bank account saying, uh-oh, what'd I do? I got into some dangerous territory. So it kind of explain how we can get a complete picture of our finances before tackling it.
Well, first, you have to acknowledge it because you cannot fix what you have not acknowledged. So you want to write everything down. What your credit card balance is, what's the APR, what is the due date, everything that you want to remember. It's about numbers, right? Not guilt. So acknowledgement is first and foremost.
So you kind of have to map out
Yes.
what you've done.
Yes.
And then figure out the journey back, right? Which includes transferring your balance.
You might want to. So in order to do a balance transfer, you do have to have decent credit, Hazel. So thinking like 670 or above. And even if you have decent credit, you want to make sure that, one, that you can lock in a promo for a 0% APR, or it's not really worth it, right? You also want to make sure that the maths. So typically there's a balance transfer fee, 3 to 5%. So whatever the new payment that you're going to be making, you want to make sure that it's lower than what you're currently paying or it doesn't make any sense, right? Then you want to make sure that you have a plan to pay this off by the promo date, expiration date, because you don't want the promo, the APR to jump exponentially, you know, because you haven't paid it off in time. And last but not least, are you willing to put that card away?
Well, that was my question, right? So while you're transferring the balances and having this pay down plan that you're talking about, we'll talk about that in a second. You have to not continue to spend on the card.
So number one thing, right, Dan, is that like if you're in a ditch and you have a shovel, put the shovel down or you're just never going to get out. You know, I've been there. I've done balance transfers and they really work, but you have to put that credit card away.
Okay, so then let's talk about what Dan was saying, the pay down plan. How do you establish that for yourself?
So I have 2 pay down plans that I really like. There's the avalanche method. So with both of these plans, you're really going to focus on paying the minimum amount to all your credit cards except for the one you're focused on. With the avalanche method, you're going to focus on the card with the highest interest rate. This means you're going to pay down your most expensive debt first. This is for people who are really like left-brained, very logical. They want to tackle the most expensive debt, right? The snowball method is you're going to focus on the debt with the lowest balance first. If you're an emotional spender like me, you get a psychological win because those lowest balances will be paid off more quickly. So I like for people to start with snowball and then work their way to avalanche and automate. Automation is the new discipline.
So what about folks who have a lot of different balances? You mentioned the different balances. Is there a way to consolidate them all into one?
So that's what balance transfer is
typically. A balance transfer.
Yeah.
Okay,
so sometimes you can balance transfer certainly to like another card, but sometimes too there are some financial institutions that actually let you transfer your balances to a loan.
Them, right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then but you want to be mindful because you don't want to jump out of the frying pan into the fire because you don't want to say, okay, now that debt's paid off, I run this up, but I still owe what I transferred. So you really want to be mindful about the continual spending.
Keep track of that map, right? So what about you talk about finding a tribe to help support you through this whole journey. So what do you mean by that?
So money, Hazel, is a team sport. We are not meant to money alone, right? So whether this might be your work mom, your person, your partner, your sister, your best friend, I want you to work with people who also have financial challenges. They don't have to be experts, but you want to meet up regularly. Maybe it's once a month, once a week. You're going to work on your goals together and track your progress. You're going to hold each other accountable, and you're really going to encourage each other. And so I do this every year intentionally as the Budgetnista. I've got this free challenge called the Get Good with Money Challenge. We're in year like 10 or 11.
Oh my goodness, okay.
And so you get tracking tools and resources all free. We've been doing it every year. Last year we did it, 12,000 people signed up.
Wow.
In one day, we saved $800,000 collectively.
Wow.
Yes. And so because I know what it's like, and I know that not everyone has their money team, if you will, and so we work with your credit, we teach you how to budget, teach you how to save, and it's me. I actually used to be a former school teacher, and so it's really fun for me to teach.
You know,
that's amazing.
That's really great because we have a friend actually that he and his wife like literally meet up on a regular basis and map out like this is where we are, this is what our next challenge is, and this is what we're going to do to tackle it. But
really
it's so
smart.
nice. Not everybody has a spouse at home or a boyfriend or girlfriend that can help them through this. So that is really great.
And who wants to be around folks who are like, my finances are perfect?
Exactly.
Liar. Tiffany, great to have you here. Thank you so much. All right.
Happy New Year to you.